we have one of our favorite in-house people, Bill McKenna, who's been with me a number of times on Gaia now, and turns out they crunched the numbers. He's one of Gaia's favorites on my Open Mind show, but I had been interviewing him prior to that in the CMN days, and what attracted me to Bill's information is that he wouldn't say this, but I would. I'd go out on a limb. I think Bill's an old Atlantean healer. His healing abilities have been around for a long time. And so when he was least expecting it, all these abilities started popping up through the cracks again. And he was just shown how the system of healing works within the human body, spirit, and mind. So he's created something called hacks into our consciousness that can help us with any number of issues that we deal with in our ordinary lives. So without further ado, let's bring Bill on. Hey, Bill, good to see you again.
Hi, thank you for that. I'd never heard that before, so that's good.
I'm sure you haven't, but that's how I perceive it. You know, when people start just popping up with these abilities and they're just flowing through their consciousness, ready to use, complete. To me, it's because they've already been there and done that. It's just part of their internal matrix, and they know how it works. And I have a lot of respect for that kind of innate knowledge.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So we've covered quite a few topics in the past, and what I thought we would do this time is, because there's so much to choose from, we're going to deal with pain in the back for one, and then we're doing a few of your hacks. Let me look at my notes here. We're going to do hacks about staying unaffected by the media, which is really depressing a lot of people these days. How we uplift everyone around us without getting sucked into their story and being affected by them. How we can reverse that and be at, not at the effect, but be the effect ourselves. Also, how we can accept change better. You even have one hack for being able to tap into seeing auras better. So this is a lot of stuff we're going to cover. But I thought we'd start with the spine, and I want you to just take off and tell us how this started coming through to you. Then I want some of your stories, the anecdotal evidence, and so forth.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to tell your guests, I apologize for, my eyeball here. Sometimes I get laughing, and I blessed a eye vessel. Whatever.
You know what, Bill? I have to tell you, you can barely even see it now. And I've had the same problem. I burst an eye vessel huge during a break at Gaiam and had to go back and do 2 interviews, and people thought that I was possessed. Some people, some of the people who are, are a little, we have a wonderful audience, but you have some people in there who are super paranoid on occasion. So I just want to say, you're not the demon. You just laugh so hard, you have a little bit of bloodshot in here.
That is true. I do get laughing, and then this happens now and again. So I thank you for that. Okay, so this stuff is like extremely useful, right? And it's very, very simple. I'll give you a story how this all started. Interestingly enough, like many of my stories, it started in Avalon. Avalon is a city on an island off the coast of California, which I love.
Catalina.
Yeah, Catalina, exactly. So, funny enough, a while back, I Googled, what's the definition of Avalon? And it said it was a mythical island that in the West that King Arthur went to when wounded, and others went to when they were wounded. And it was so befitting. I was like, oh my gosh, because that's where, my genesis, took place. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'm over there, and I run into a friend of mine, somebody who works for him, who was also just randomly over there taking a vacation. And she was in extreme pain. And it was in her lower back at the base of her spine. And as soon as she told me about it, I was like, that's she just has some viewpoints that are that are not true. And so I said, how old are you? And she's like, oh, I'm 50 years old. And I said, and how long has this been going on? She says, oh gosh, I've had it since my 20s, but it's horrible now. She said, and I said, so you've got how many children? She says, oh, I've got 3 kids, and one's going off to college, and the other 2 are in high school, and that sort of thing. And I said, okay, you're that old, and now you have some financial fears, yes? And she says, yes. I don't know how I'm going to make it. The kids and the bills, and they all want the braces, the teeth, the new shoes, and and she's a single mom, and so I said, okay, all right. So see if this is true for you. You are 50 years old, yes, and you were born, and ever since you were born, you had somewhere to sleep, something to eat, and a roof over your head. Is this true? Yes, it's true. Yeah, I've always, and so, and many times you feared that you're just not going to make it, right? I mean, obviously, you had the kids, and then, the marriage, and anyway, you've feared this many times, but you always made it, right? And she said, yes, I always made it. It's true. A little change here and there, but I made it. I said, yeah, okay, it's true, right? Many, 50 years of your experience tells you this is in fact true in your life experience. Yes, okay, now everything you're worried about, the kids, the braces, the teeth, the whole 9 yards, apply this to that. It wasn't ever true. All of your worries were never true. You always made it. And the same thing is on a go-forward basis. And I said, your parents, right? They had these same worries, yes? She's like, yeah, my parents, of course, my parents did, yes. I said, and guess what? They always made it too, right? Yeah, they did. And so as soon as she realized it, and I said, okay, now really apply this to every situation that you're worried about on the finance. She said, oh my gosh, her lower back heated up. She said it got really hot, and it was at the base of the spine. And she says, oh my gosh, it went away. Right then and there, boom, like that, just went away. And so, that realization of that in the truth, because it is true, as soon as you realize that, the base of the spine pain goes away. This is related to our first chakra. And I assume all your viewers are very advanced. They'll know what that is, and if they don't, they can Google it. But you don't need to Google it. You just have a new realization, and if the pain's at the base of the spine, see how it goes. The next one up, I was in the grocery store. And I was in the grocery store.
Bill, hold on just a sec. When you say the next one up, you're talking about the next chakra up, right? The lower spine, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'm checking out at the grocery store, and bleep, bleep, and the ladies, the lady checking me out is like, I can see her pushing kind of on her back, pushing on her back, and I said, your back hurts? And she goes, yeah, it hurts. I'm standing all day. Everybody makes an excuse for it. There's like a million reasons why that thing hurts. I said, okay, so that one, it's adjacent your belly button. If adjacent the belly button, is that about where it hurts? And she goes, yeah, it hurts right there. I said, okay, by the time you give me my change, that'll go away. If you're willing to change your mind. And she was like, really? I said, yeah, just try this. Okay. You have somebody you love non-romantically. Yes? A dog, a pet, grandma, niece, nephew, whatever. Okay. Feel the feeling of love for that pet or friend or whoever it is, and really put yourself there. And it was quick for her. She was like, okay, I'm there. I feel it. I said, okay, now you got somebody that you're related to that bugs the heck out of you. They, not so much. Okay, yeah. Now give that feeling to them. Do not hold back. 100% give that feeling. And this is an experiment only until you give me my change. Just do it until you give me my change wholeheartedly. And she did. She did it. And by the time she gave me my change, it was like it was gone. She was like, "What?" She was like, "What?" Adjusting. Kind of like adjusting. Like, that's wait, what? That's not, can't be true. What? Anyway, so the beauty of it is that it can happen that fast. It's just the realization, and the realization is that what I'm holding in the second chakra, right? This is going to be across the belly button, in that area, little up, little down, right in that area. If the pain is there, just do that, and it's specifically somebody you're related to, somebody close to you. What I hold against them gives me pain, quite simply. And my body, and this isn't a case all the way up and down the spine and throughout the body, but we're just doing spine today, is that my body expresses for me the emotions that I cannot process. So anyway, that's our second chakra.
What about people you come across who are kind of so stuck in the story? Because what I'm hearing here is that the one thing these two instances had in common is that you took these people by surprise. You weren't coming up against anything. They weren't looking for a healing. It was just kind of one of those spontaneous, fresh things that happened in that moment in their lives. So there were no real filters. There was no resistance. Like when you go into a chiropractor, your whole body stiffens up in anticipation of them moving you. Same thing emotionally. So what happens when you come across people that are so stiff in holding these stories and such? Let's talk about it.
I love that. I love that question. The way that I do this is I simply say, you can go back to your old thought in just 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You can, this is only an experiment. I want you to look at this as an experiment, and wholeheartedly for 3 minutes, just do this one thing. You don't have to believe it later on, but for these 3 minutes, we're gonna go at it 100%. Okay, is that all right? I mean, you could change your mind back, right? It ain't cost nothing. So in that way, it kind of gives people like, all right, 3 minutes, and it's just an experiment. He can't.
Mm-hmm.
He won't be able to help. That. Whatever, 3 minutes. I'll do it. So anyway, that's how it goes. When it almost makes me want to jump forward to the neck. This one was shocking. So, I talked about it in your last interview, how I, help out every Saturday, for free. And anyway, one lady comes in and she's like this, can't, there's the shoulders and the neck, all one, just, and she said, like, you know what? This has been going on since I was 15, and she was, had to be, pushing 60. And the discs were now gone. The stuff in between your vertebrae, gone, bone on bone. And the doctors could do nothing. So extreme pain. And this one don't make no sense to me, right? But hey, we've done a few things that don't make sense. So this one, I merely, when she was there, I said, listen, you, and this is kind of also about setting people's mind at ease. You know what's right. You know what's right. And you're very firm in your knowing of what's right. I want you to just try this out. Just, again, 3 minutes. Just try it. You have all these people in your life that um, are wrong. They're simply, you believe they're wrong, and I want you to let go of making them wrong anymore. Let go of being right. And just look at it as they have a different perspective. That perspective might be limited, but it's just different. And for this period of time, let go that you're right and allow yourself to see the other person's perspectives without making them wrong, without making them less than you. They're simply just looking at things from their own limited point of view, but not wrong. And you're not better than them, and you're not less than them either. And vice versa. They're not better than you, you're not less, but both ways. Anyway, just holding the ability to now allow a different perspective, and she did it. Unbelievable. She was like, no pain. And that, physiologically, for somebody, she said she's had it since she was 15, and bone on bone, it doesn't make no sense, right?
Right.
But she actually was able to hold this new perspective, which was allowing others to have their own perspective, allowing herself to see others' perspectives without making it right. And our body is quite literal. Like, here I am, I won't turn left and I won't turn right? I'm not going to look the other way at somebody else's perspective. Anyway, that's that.
Oh, let me ask you about that. Okay, so how did you know where to kind of dig into her to begin with? Were you going with more kind of accepted knowledge of what the chakras represent? Was it more intuitive, or was it somehow symbolic, like you just said about the neck turning right and left? How did you know where to begin asking that question with her? Because that's really a lot of the genius in what you do. You have this Santa Claus demeanor that people aren't intimidated by, number one. And number two, you just kind of know where to dig down.
So many fabulous teachers, not only real life masters that live it here on this earth, but books and everybody. And part of it is just kind of knowing, and part of it is that I've been able to take information from different sources. Not being dedicated to, there's only one path, meaning there's, I studied martial arts for, 35 years. But I had studied many different styles, and all of these many different, I don't even know how many, I can't even count how many. And every one of them had the perspective that, my way's the best. This is it. We know what other people don't know, and and they all did know something the other guy didn't know, but they didn't benefit from crossing over and getting other people's information and knowledge. And I've had the same kind of experience in kind of different parts of my life, and being able to kind of glean information from different places. Mm-hmm. So that, hopefully that explains.
Yeah, that does. I just wanted to know how you knew how to hone in to the understanding that woman. Well, I mean, it's obvious on one hand because she was rigid, physically rigid. So you know that the viewpoint, and the way of interacting with life would have to probably be rigid as well. But I thank you for clarifying how you come about your discernment as to which questions to begin asking people. So I want to get back to the spine. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's go now mid-spine, which is across from the solar plexus or third chakra.
Okay, yeah. So solar plexus, I compare it, that V in where your rib cage comes down, right, right there. And I know, by the way, a lot of people, talk about, this different areas they think things are at. Once you start to experience pain and stuff and relief, you start to know, that's actually where it is. So anyway, specifically, pain there is related to control. So the relief, right, is that I tell people, how about this? Let's try this again. 3 minutes, try it out. Let go of all of your fear of change. It's simply like that. So when I'm controlling, right, is I want to control an outcome. And I don't want change in some way that I'm a fear and outcome somehow. And this can be outbound or inbound, right? Somebody else is trying to control me, or I'm trying to control a situation. If I let go of my fear of someone trying to control me, and that I let go of the outcome, and I say, you know what? Take that outcome. Yeah, if that's what goes down, that's what goes down. You don't control me. If I'm gonna go, that's the worst case. Okay, that's the worst case. And you let go, and boom, as soon as you let go, you start to feel that relief. Some people experience that heat, or the pain will all of a sudden be gone. So a lot of people find this around work and that sort of thing is letting go. And I also try to have people to kind of understand that maybe, there's divine order, right? That there's a greater plan than maybe we're aware of today. And
and I think that's a very gracious way to look at it, and a very true way to look at it. And oftentimes, people, as you mentioned earlier, the very first woman you were talking about, you and your children have never gone without a meal, and so forth, and you laid it out. And we're so afraid of change, yet when you look at it logically, we have, within the spectrum of potential outcomes, our lives are fairly well constructed. Kind of what country you're living in, what area of the country, what city, what friends or family are around, what kind of job you have, if you lost that job, most likely what might be following or could follow that. So in a sense, we really blow these potential changes way out of proportion. It's not as though we've been kidnapped and thrown on a helicopter and taken somewhere hooded for 10 hours and have no idea what's next. Change doesn't happen like that in most of our lives. It's just something like losing a relationship or a job, but still in rather predictable circumstances otherwise. So I'm just validating what you're saying and setting that backdrop that we're so afraid of something that just isn't as dramatic an effect, even if it happened, as we would fear, right?
Right.
Okay, let's move on up the spine.
Okay, so if it's in between the shoulder blades, behind the heart, this area is about judgment. So holding judgment, and if you simply start to accept others. It completely, and it's the subtleties of judgment, those subtle judgments, and letting go of those. And those judgments can be everywhere from the people that are very close to us to all the way to the geopolitical situations. You're letting go of all judgments, allowing others to be, do, and say as they wish without judging them. And this one seems to take a little bit longer in that area. So you kind of have to hold it and keep holding that and letting go. And that one works very, very well.
Okay, Bill, so I have a question now. If you want to go ahead from the spine straight on through, we're dealing with the heart chakra there.
Correct.
So we're talking about almost heart disease being virtually epidemic in modern culture, in the Western world in particular.
Yes.
So let's extend that conversation out a little bit to the front side of that chakra.
So one of the things that can help, and this is this will dovetail into some other subjects. You see me using this example because it came to me and it's really effective. Came to me when I was driving. Is you think of the person that you love non-romantically, and the reason why do I use that is because it's unconditional.
Right.
All right, and because romantic love is has conditions typically with it. So you think of this person you love non-romantically, you feel that feeling of love for them, and then without any thought whatsoever, give that feeling to you. And for most of the people I encounter, when they first do this, it's the very first time of life that they've ever done it. And I work with people that are 80s, 90s, and they have their first experience. There's very few people actually have this feeling for themselves. It's because it's a generational thing. Mom didn't have it, grandma didn't have it, nobody had it, and it wasn't okay. It would be seen as selfish or narcissistic. But holding this feeling, allowing it in, faults and all, you can find that relief as well. And then it has other effects, which you can start to utilize this to start to expand out from.
Talk about that. Talk about the other effects.
So not only will the pain start to go away, right? In addition to that, people treat us relative to how we feel about us, right? That alone is a huge deal. And when I say this, I'm not saying it sounds like BS until you go out and do this. Once you do it, and literally this week, if you go out and do it, you'll see that, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? You're gonna, I don't consider myself like a model or anything, but I did this, and the first times I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, men, women, dogs, people, everybody is like coming to me. I was like, oh my gosh, it's too much. Yeah. So you see people want to help you. They want to be around you. All kinds of stuff starts happening. And relationships change. Some people will go away and new people come in because you've completely changed your vibration.
I find that one really beautiful because I would think that over time, if you were to kind of embrace that as initially maybe a practice and then it starts just becoming somewhat more second nature, if you can get that far with it, that we should start seeing real impacts on the health of our heart and cardiovascular system as well. Wouldn't you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Great work done on this by HeartMath.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
They don't use this exercise that I developed, but they do all kinds of other things, which literally really do have. I have a friend that he was one of the first people. You know how they'll cool people down and then they'll do a heart transplant.
Yep.
The guy that did that, right, and a wonderful man here in San Diego. And I got to know him, and I said, "Hey, your customer, would you say, on average, your average customer has a problem with feeling?" I taught him how to self-love. And would you say your average customer has a problem with this? Or has had a broken heart, meaning, a emotional issue? He said, oh yeah, there's definitely a correlation in between his customer and the betrayal or whatever it might be that shuts people emotionally down at their heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes absolute sense to me. So now we did the neck. Do we have one at the very tip of the spine we're still going to go to?
This one is at kind of the base of the neck.
Yeah, base of the neck, right.
The neck and the shoulders.
So would that be the fifth chakra, throat chakra correlation?
Yeah, that would be at the throat, kind of in betweener,
Mm-hmm.
but it is the fifth.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's kind of it's in between, and the realization there, I ran into so many people that had this pain in the shoulders or stuck shoulders and that sort of, and pain at the base of the spine. And the thing that occurred to me is they all held the same belief. And that belief was everybody else kind of sucks in a way. And by sucks, I mean, it's all on me. I'm a champion. I'm a doer. I go out and I'm the one who takes it all on. And I do this because people are incompetent, they're stupid, I'm the only person who can do it, whatever be the case. But it's like, I'm the champion and I have to do the heavy lifting because nobody else can or will do it. And my realization is that quite simply, these people bring other things to your life. And we, right, overvalue all that we do, right? I'm the champion, I do it all, and I'll do all the dishes and the laundry and everything, and it's all me. And this person, they don't do nothing, or what they do is not valued. So when that happens, people get pain here, and they also lock up their shoulders. And as soon as they let go and start seeing the other people in their life, that, you know what, they bring something else to my life completely, and let go of overvaluing what you bring. Yes, you do great stuff, but you know what? They do something different. And that something different, make it equal to what you do. And it could just be that they hug you and they laugh with you. Maybe that's it. But just value it.
That's beautiful, Bill. And what also about the notion, oftentimes people that have issues in that area can be perceived as overachievers. Like you say, they have to take the whole thing on. What happens there in terms of maybe letting go of all burden, the burden of all the responsibility, and maybe allowing some of those people in their lives surrounding them to contribute and be part of the solutions?
With each one of these things change. You hit it exactly. With each one of these things, when you change it, then it allows some other change. Funny enough, you say this because it was 2 days ago. I went to the same grocery store, and it was that woman with the back pain, and it was like I should have figured it out, right? I should have known there was something going on, because everywhere I was, she was. I'm in getting my bread. What are you? You're in the checking thing, and then a glass breaks over at the check stand or something by somebody else, and she's got to stand at my check stand at the end, guarding the area where it's wet. Won't move, right? So I should have figured it out, because when I was there, I said, "Hey, how's the back?" And she said, "You know what? It's really great. I use that thing all the time." And then I said, and it just hit me. I said, "Hey, so how's that relationship?" She goes, "It's changed." So she started feeling different, or allowing this different feeling, and the relationship changed in a positive way.
Wonderful. I love this. I mean, I find when I'm listening to you, it's just such a simple, direct, beautiful way of viewing ourselves and our own role in the pain that we cause ourselves in life. Most of the pain we have is self-inflicted. I think that's what's difficult for us to accept, is most of it is self-inflicted. So this is what you're doing, I think, is just the perfect antidote. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, and by the way, hey, a lot of this stuff I figured out on my own because, I had a little few things,
Well, you used to have some anger issues, as I recall.
Yeah. So I had a really good laboratory. It was me. I kind of figured I had to figure it out. So
Okay, so let's talk about some of the hacks.
Okay.
I mentioned earlier. Okay, let's talk about the one about being the one who is affecting the situation rather than being at the effective. In other words, being able to uplift people rather than having people who might be a little draining drag us down with them.
Okay. Extremely, extremely simple. This one is, again, really amazing. And that is that as you walk in, and this could be one-on-one or it could be in an entire meeting, your ability to affect that, you have no idea. Well, probably the viewers may have some idea, but this works, is let go of all judgment of them. You're just there, and you're seeing the good in them. And at the same time, you're seeing the good. Maybe you're just noticing, hey, those are nice shoes. Those are great shoes today. Wow, nice set of earrings, Maybe, because there's been some problems with this person or whatever, but pick something and notice the good things and let go of your judgment. And most of all, you don't want anything. You don't want anything from them, and you let go of fearing them and fearing outcomes. You merely are there and just seeing all of them as if you would see them as a best friend. And in that way, all of a sudden, not only, here's the weird thing, this is crazy, not only do they respond to you as really great, like, hey, you're all right, but if it's in a meeting, they intertwine. What I mean is, to other people that had a problem, you didn't have a problem with either one of them, but all of a sudden they're getting along. It is an amazing thing, and all you have to do is just no judgment, see the good in them, see them like a best friend. You don't want anything, and you don't fear anything. You don't fear any outcome, and you'll see it'll be like, wow. My daughter, I did this one day, I was just doing it on my own, right? And was very small, less than 2 years old. And I remember her she was walking around the table, and all of a sudden she's nice and peaceful. Nice and peaceful. She still starts saying.
That's cute.
She picks right up on it.
I love it.
Yeah.
No filters there. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's talk about the one having to do with media, because so many people are trying to stay somewhat dialed into the external world and mainstream media as it is, just so you don't miss a major event, but then you go away so agitated or depressed. So how do we stop that cycle?
Another real important one, especially in today's day and age with all the numerous issues going on. So the way I can best explain this is everybody has been to the movies, and you're sitting there watching a movie, and it's a good movie, right? There's action and suspense and stuff, and you notice your heart starts beating, and maybe a crash scene happens, and you feel yourself kind of moving around in your chair like, whoa, 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 that type of thing. You have your energy has moved into the screen. You're actually in the movie. You're responding not only emotionally, but physically to what's going on the screen. You're in it. So that's the problem. Is you left your body and you went into the movie. So this one is super simple. You merely observe the movie, or that'll be the news, and you feel your back in the chair. Just feel your back in the chair, feel your feet on the ground. Notice your body. If you keep noticing your body and keep watching the thing, you're going to be amazed. You won't feel what you feel right now when you watch the news because you didn't jump out and go into it. Be part of the news. You're an observer of the news. You're not part of the news. And it simply is our ability to stay in our body. Just wiggle your back, feel your back on your chair, and you'll be the observer. And this goes for not only media, but you'll find it. It happens. You're out on the street, and there's a conflict going on across the street, and people are fighting and yelling and stuff. If you stay in your body, do not go over there. Just meaning you just keep feeling your body and feel your feet on the ground. You won't get affected like that.
Bill, that's perfect. I know a lot of people listening are probably like me, which is super empathic, and you just jump into you leave your body, you jump into everything. And I have a terrible time with this. If I go to movies, I'm so sucked into the middle of the story. I'm jumping out of my seat. I'm flinching at everything that happens. And I've never been able to actually pull myself back and be an observer of a story, including people that are talking to me. I become part of, I flow into their story, and want to fix it, of course. So I love this. And I'm just going to throw one other tiny little tidbit. This is totally practical, okay? This is for people who, like Bill, like myself, are traumatized by the new headline news. I can't even watch that stuff. I subscribe to a magazine called The Week. It's an international magazine. It gives you little tidbits and chunks, and it's kind of bipartisan. So, on the political spectrum, a little comment from both sides, a little bit of lifestyle. But I've turned a lot of people onto that magazine, and it's a wonderful way to get a little drip feed of everything that's happened in the week. But having it one-dimensional like that, just kind of black and white, you don't have the same kind of emotional response to the information, but you can actually stay tuned long enough to be a little bit better informed than trying to listen to and alternately run away from the headline news or television or whatnot. So anyway, it's called The Week. I just wanted to let everybody know about that. Love that magazine. No, this is really good for empaths in particular, and I'm going to try it if I can remember when I'm in the movies next time to just feel the back of the chair.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a new awareness. That's all.
Yeah.
And even in the middle of the movie, if you just get back in your chair, that's it. Just
okay.
feel yourself in the chair. That's all. Feel the back on the chair. Okay.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, a couple of them we're going to talk about, we've already touched on through the work with the spine, but let's do one more, and that is how to open up or expand our abilities to see the aura better.
Okay, so this one is kind of an interesting. There's so many different ways to see auras, and I'll give you a couple of them. I never knew that I could see them, I didn't believe in it or whatever. But what you can do is, like, if you're looking at me, you're going to just pick a point on the door over here, and you would just stare at that point on the door. Just pick a point on the door. There's a doorknob, and you just pick a point on it. And what you do is just stare at the point, and you don't try to do anything. You're just staring at the point, and you're relaxed. You will eventually see a little white line that'll be like 1 inch around my physical body. The 1 inch of white light will start to appear, and then what happens is it will come and go. You'll get excited. Oh my gosh, there's a white line. Whoa! And then boom, it's gone. Go back to the point. Just stay with the point, and you're using your peripheral vision. So that's kind of step one. After you've done this for maybe 5 minutes or so, what you do is you shift perspectives to the tip of the nose. And for some people, that will make it pop. The last thing, and I just love this one because this came to me when I was showing somebody how to work with it, and I got them to hear, and I said, okay, now feel that love for the person that you love non-romantically, and feel that, and give it to you. And as soon as she gave it to her, boom! And because I understood dimensions, I was like, oh, well, this isn't of course. You know, as I was doing this, I was like, well, of course, this is her problem. And you probably, most of you seen my talk on dimensions. And as you go from the third dimension to the fourth dimension, and the underlying kind of main characteristic in the fourth dimension is that unconditional love, is that jumps you up. And as you jump up to the fourth dimension, all of a sudden your psychic abilities start to unfurl. So the feeling of love for others unconditionally, and feeling that for you, all of a sudden, pop, you have this ability. And anyway, so that's seeing the auras with your physical eyes. Some people can't. What I recommend is simply look at the person and close your eyes and say, show me your colors. And a lot of people will be able to see the colors. Then that's a very simple way. I'm always after the practical though. And what I mean by that is that, so what? I can see a color. Is ask a question, what does that color mean for that person at this point in time? And you'll get something, oh, they're at peace, or, oh boy, they're concerned with their finances or whatever. But it gives you a way in as a conversation point to know kind of, here's what to talk about, maybe to help out. Okay.
Excellent.
There we go.
Excellent. Well, I want to say before we sign off here that Bill, we have pages more, and we're going to come back and do that. But I wanted to let everybody know first that you and I were just together in the Gaiam studio a couple of weeks ago, and that show will be airing spring of 2018, so it might be past that by the time someone comes across this interview. But anyway, spring of 2018 is a Gaiam interview we did on cogno movement, which has to do with this whole new system you have that's really fun, with a ball with the chakra colors on it. So yeah, do you have one there? You have it there? That's the one? Yeah, that guy. So we were playing with the ball. So I just want to let everybody know that that interview is coming up on Gaia, solely separate from what we've just talked about here. And so let's go ahead. Let's do one more. Okay, Bill? Let's go ahead and do one more before we sign off this time. And also have to find out if you ever got your website finished, so people can reach you finally.
Okay. Well, the website is, you can use billmckennaevents.com, and that at least at this point will be able to get you to me. And it'll be a place that announcements, on the Cogno Movement Ball and that sort of thing will come out. So.
Yeah, because I've had you on all these times, but you're not doing this as a business. You're just sharing information with people like, how do I get a hold of this guy in case they need to? But you give us so much, you can do a lot of it on your own anyway. Okay, give us one more hack, okay?
One of the ones that is very simple in this time of change, right? Everybody's dealing with change right now. And we have a hard time accepting change, although we've been experiencing change all of your life. And that is, this one is very simple. Just redecorate your house, move your furniture around, start using your pen with the other hand, or take your toothbrush and brush with the opposite hand. Put your trash can in a different place. Take a different route to work. As you start doing these subtle things, if you put your belt on the opposite way, right? You don't buckle the same way. If you just do these little changes, it just by brushing your with the opposite hand, it sets up in your brain the ability to start accepting change. So that's just a simple hack that you could do. I have all these other ones. I can't wait to come back because
we'll do another whole show on all. We've got so many hacks, but we'd be here for hours. So we'll give everybody a little break and give them something to look forward to next time. And again, Bill, thank you. Any final words before we say goodbye?
Thanks for watching. I can't wait to do another show with you because I there's some real gems that I can't wait to share with everybody. And well, the big one is this cogno movement ball thing. It has the ability to process what I would say the unprocessable before you. They might have thought that there's no good way for me to
yeah. Well, I thought we did a great show on Gaia on that too, so people will have a chance to see the Gaia show April, May, somewhere around there of 2018. Wow. So with that, thank you so much, Bill, and thank you everyone for watching reginameredith.com. And for those who are supporting the site via Patreon, we have some really kind of cool video podcasts on the edgy side, so you might want to take a look at those. And we'll be back with Bill in another few months with more of his hacks, including the information you have on the Cogno hack by then, or the Cogno movement by then. So until next time, thanks again for watching reginameredith.com.